Good afternoon, everybody. Uneducated Economist here. I love having this channel. I love getting some of the views. I love the comments. I love the emails. I get so many ideas and thoughts. You tell me what you see from the ground. You tell me what you're seeing from, what you're experiencing. And it's so enlightening. I mean, it really is. I've been putting out these videos about lumber for a long time. And I seem to be talking about lumber every single day, but I mean, lumber's where it's at. I mean, it was almost a gift to this channel to have lumber scream to $12.60 per thousand. I have done more videos documenting the things that have happened inside of the lumber industry, probably more than anybody else on YouTube right now. And I went back and I was just scrolling back through videos from a year ago. And I was putting out lumber update videos every week, at least. And I went back and I just clicked on some of them from a year ago, and I was really amazed by some of the things that I was hearing. Like, I remember the videos, I remember everything taking place in them. And it's funny because a lot of my predictions are just like kind of off the wall, but they're meant to bring the conversation, I mean, that's really what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to think of like ideas that, most people aren't throwing out there to, for people to just gobble up. I mean, I'm really trying to start the conversations here. I think I do a pretty good job of it. And in those videos, I mean, I was predicting Weyerhaeuser stock. I mean, I didn't know it at the time. I even said it. I'm no investor. I mean, don't listen to me on this, blah, blah, blah. And I went on and did my thing, and I look back and I'm like, man, I called Weyerhaeuser stock on it. If you dollar cost averaged on Weyerhaeuser stock from the point that I had made that video, you would have hit the bottom on it. You may have jumped in heavy at the bottom, and it would have been a screaming buy ever since. I'm no financial advisor. I'm no, stock expert by any means. I have no idea about investing. I study economics as best I can. I try to, take in as much information as I can, as many ideas, and give you what I see out there. Last year, I was telling you, I had a shortage of lumber. I was putting the videos out talking about it. I talked about the pressure-treated shortage, and I knew it. I said, I cannot believe. I'll leave links down in the description for the videos that I was watching earlier. And go back and watch those videos. And I was saying it. I was like, I had ordered 12 units of different pressure-treated lumber, just like, the 2x4s, the 2x6s, beams, 4x4s, whatever, just the things that you need for the yard. And I got 3 units out of 12 last year. This year, I don't have any problems. We were able to get, so far, everything that I've ordered so far this year has come in. I listen to people who talk about the mills are full, like every mill. I hear about how trains running have loads of lumber on it. I'm hearing about how their local lumber yards at, wherever they live. I get emails and comments saying that they have, certain things, stacked all over the place. Like they're full. There's no missing lumber units anywhere. Like, we used to have missing units. Like when the toilet paper shortage came in, nobody really thought about the lumber being shortage too. There was a shortage of everything. Everybody saw it. So nobody really questioned it. But now they talk about this shortage and how it's really hard to get lumber and how there's like, this mad demand for it. And yet I hear about it, how it's at the yards. I hear about how it's on the highways. I hear about how it's on the trains. I hear about how it's in the mills. And I hear the guys say, it's just like, yeah, but the stuff at the mills, that's all sold. Well, so is the stuff on the trucks, and so is the stuff on the rails, and so is the stuff in the yard until it gets to retail and actually sold to a person who's nailing it together. It's all sold. It's all sold to somebody. So if it's sold there and sold everywhere, and it's everywhere. There is no shortage. Not anymore. I mean, it may be hard to get. The trucking may make it hard to get. Container ships bringing, stuff in from imports may be hard to get, making domestic supply hard to get. I can see that kind of shortage. But when all these people are telling me everywhere they see it, okay, I believe the demand for lumber is there, but I believe it's also on its way. because it seems to be that way. You know, nobody really thought about it when the material was gone. I mean, prices then should have been sky high when you really couldn't get it. Now you can get it. The prices are high. It's not going to last, guys. I don't know how much higher it's going to go. I would not have expected 1260. Now I'm 2,000 per thousand. Because here's the thing, 1260 per thousand. What is it? I think it's at 12. Okay, so this is what I did earlier. I'm sorry, I just kind of ramble here a little bit, but this is what I did. I started Googling home. I don't want to use the word. You knew who I was going to say. I started Googling a major lumberyard chain around the country. There you go. And I didn't Google. I was just looking at pricing, and I found like, at least in my area or locally to me, I found 2x4 8-foot at $6.75. 2x4 8-foot kiln dried, standard and better stuff. Now, that seems pretty low comparatively to what my yard is selling them for. I don't have the buying power of a lot of these other places, but if they can get them at $6, and sell them for $6.75 a stick, that's pretty decent, considering that the lumber futures market is $6.71. There is no way that they can sell it for that much longer. If you can get it at that price, you might want to do it. Or the lumber futures prices are going to drop dramatically. Why go and buy a futures contract when you can go down to the local place and get it for cheaper? It doesn't make any sense. You go back and you watch those videos, and it was mill curtailments, mill shutdowns, dropping of inventory. Look at those videos that I was doing from a year ago, and it really tells a lot about what's happening today. There was a constraint in the supply chain. That ripple has gone through. It's going through. But the stuff is coming in. Why the price is still high? It's because the perception that it's out there. People are still hungry for it. Think about it. When the toilet paper shortage hit, panic buys are just that. When you have ammo, toilet paper, lumber, anything out there, okay? It doesn't matter what it is. If you all of a sudden have people believing that they are not going to be able to get their hands on it, they will buy it at any price. They will pay any price for it, and they will store it any way they can, if they can. Think about it. Toilet paper, there was never a shortage of toilet paper. People just bought so much of it and stacked it up in their living room that there was none left to be on the shelf. There was no reason to buy that much of it. And although a lot of people may argue with it, it's the fact. It happened back in the 70s. It happened back in the 70s because Johnny Carson actually kicked off the story, where his program got everybody going, oh my gosh, is there going to be a shortage of toilet paper? He took one little story about from the pulp industry and made a joke about it, and everybody ran with it, and the toilet paper was gone for almost a year on the shelves. I did a video about that long before COVID was before anybody was even talking about COVID. I talked about the panic buy of the toilet paper from back in the 70s. And to see it happen again was really hilarious. Now, it was just funny for me that I put the video out just to see it happen again. I thought that was great. But the ammo was the same thing. Think about it. If you have a bunch of people out there who buy ammo on a regular basis, right? For the last 10 years, just think about how much ammo consumption there was out there and how much the manufacturers need to produce in order to meet that demand. And then all of a sudden, in this demand area, you have twice as many people start buying ammo. There is no way that the manufacturer can double production. They can try, they can do their best, but there's no way that you can just instantaneously double production. And even if you did, what if the demand falls out? Now your facility that you built is no longer capable of sustaining itself, and you have to start laying people off, because really all you were doing was feeding into a panic bubble buy. People really didn't want that much ammo. They're just storing it up because they believe they can't get it. They believe there's a shortage. They have all the conspiracy theories in the world to come up with for why this is happening, but nobody wants to believe it is just because there's twice or three times as much buying as there ever was. Really, that was it. It's the easiest thing to understand. People panic buy. It happens. And there's no reason to believe that it isn't happening in the lumber futures market right now. I'm telling you, like, if people are I told you guys a long time ago this stuff. I am telling you the experiences that I have, and I know they contradict a lot of what other people are saying out there because they do not see the data that I see. They don't know how many phone calls I get in a day. They don't know what those phone calls are asking for. That is data that never shows up on anybody's charts. I wish I had a place that I could go to with other retailers like myself who could tell you those kind of numbers. Because I'm the only one who pays attention to it. I have to ask the other guys around me, the other employees, and, hey, how many deck packages quotes are you doing? How many people are asking for, pricing on 2x6 seater? How many people are asking for a door window coat? I mean, I ask them constantly, how many people? How many are you doing? I look at their orders. I pay attention to see, not only for the benefit of the store to know where I need to do my best in sales or where I need to put my more effort towards, but then also because I can process all this information and relate it to the macroeconomics that I study. I'm in a very unique position for that. That's, it's very cool. But I'm telling you now, those hedge funds weren't listening to me back then for no reason. And they're probably still listening to me today. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm not the one who said it. It's other people who say it. I've never heard it from them. No hedge fund has ever contacted me and said, hey, I use your information and thank you. I have had people who said they work for hedge funds do that, but never have I had a hedge fund come to me and say that. So if it's an individual person who works for a hedge fund who's using my information when they're out there doing their studies, thank you. I appreciate it. So anyway, that's what I see coming in the lumber market right now. The demand for pressure treated. See, the reason why we had the major demand last year, the reason why it got zapped clean was because when people got locked down, they built the gardens, they built the decks, they, fences, gazebos. They had $1,200 and they were bored. There's no reason to believe that it was just straight up, being locked down and having this ability to, spend extra money that you typically wouldn't have gotten on this stuff. That's where the demand came from. It's not going to happen again this year because how many times do you need to build a deck? How many times do you need to build the fence and the raised garden beds? How many times do you need to rebuild your office? You see, it's going to drop back just down to housing demand. It's not going to have all that retail that everybody is just like missing out on. Everybody says it was housing demand. It's housing demand. Are you sure? I mean, I work for a lumber yard. I know what I experienced last year. Every single weekend, cleared it out. Cleared out my treated lumber. And then they cleared out the Doug fir after that. Anyway, enough of that. Uneducated economist, you guys let me know.